Maybe this is why people are afraid to retire. All right, so I just got back. No, come here. I just got back from back up in Virginia. My brother and my sister joined me in helping move my mom, clean up my mom's house. Essentially, we're gonna list that house here in a couple months. And man, she had a lot of stuff. Yeah, she hadn't been upstairs in probably 5 to 10 years. You know what I'm saying? In her house, and she just gets collected a lot of. There's so much junk, dude. I bet many of us have lost it. I know I do. I cannot. I'm dreading the idea of going through my house and cleaning out. It's gonna be a nightmare. But we rented a dumpster, an 18 cubic foot dumpster, I think is what it was, and we filled that sucker up a lot quicker than we anticipated. And we went to work for sure, but it was fun. It was fun to see my mom, fun to hang out with my brother and sister. Now I'm back in Georgia. And anyway, so we're sitting around, my brother and I and my sister, and I said, I always wonder, like, why were we've always been hard workers, my brother, my sister, and I, always have been. Like, where did that come from? Because our parents didn't, like, teach us, like, any, like, thing about working hard or anything. And my sister said something that's pretty interesting. She goes, just not having anything growing up, that if you always know if you wanted something, you got to get it yourself. The only way to get it yourself is to work. You know what I'm saying? I said, that's a good point. That's a good point. Like, when you're sitting there thinking, like, I don't like. I remember, like, I couldn't even get my mom would throw a freaking fit when I needed like a $20 physical to play sports. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't have $20. And he's like, when I was in elementary school, I needed like 35 cents to get freaking these colored pencils. 35 cents, all right. And it's just like, dude, I just remember just coming home off the boat, and my stomach would just churn with. Just, we gonna have anything to eat, and we weren't freaking Ethiopian poor. I'm just telling, but it's just like, what are we gonna? I mean, it's always like, what are we? Is it gonna be? No, is it gonna be heat in the house? I just see this could be massive stomach aches. Anyway, so the point being is going back to what has always motivated me is not to rely on other people. You know what I'm saying? Financially, not to rely on other people financially, to have my own ability to make a living, so I don't have to rely on other people like Pablo there. Old poppies. And then I just started thinking, like, what motivates me, has always motivated me, is A, not to rely on other people, B, paying off debt, because I've always had mortgage. And since I've been a big boy, I've always had a mortgage, always had a car loan, I've always had some kind of debt, man. And the motivating factor in me has always been to get enough money to pay off debt, pay off debt, pay off debt. And then we'd drive back to Stanton with my brother, because that's where we stayed. We stayed at a hotel in Stanton because it's a little bit cheaper. And I said, man, in a couple of years, I don't think I have any debt. And I said, what's going to motivate me then? You know what I'm saying? My kids will be out of the house, I don't have any debt. I mean, it's a little bit concerning, actually. I was like, what are you going to do? Like, I mean, can you imagine, like, all the things that have motivated you, all your life is, like, all of a sudden now behind you. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do now. I mean, I know it sounds like, oh, hallelujah, yeah, God willing, that'll be true. I get you. But I'm just like, the things that have driven you day in, day out to dig the ditches, to keep your head down, to keep your nose clean, day in, day out, is now gone. I mean, dude. So then I started thinking about, like, retirement. How many people, like, their whole life is built around being able to, I got to save money, retire. Then along comes me, and I said, you can do this. They're like, what? You can do this. You're voluntarily employed. And all of a sudden they're like, it's like the rug being pulled out. Because their whole life has been, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. I mean, your whole life has been, you can save, you got to save, because you can retire. If we want to retire, we want to retire, we want to retire. Then along I come and say, no, you can do it now. You're like 40, 45 years of working, and now I'm just supposed to turn a knob? Turn a valve on, and I'm supposed to, like, all the thing that's motivated me to go to work is now behind me? That's kind of frightening, man. I can see how people can see that. See, retirement hasn't been my focus. It's always been pay off debt. Pay off debt, pay off debt, pay off debt. So, I mean, I don't know if I'll ever stop working. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't mind working. Of course, I'm not digging ditches or anything. I'm doing a pretty easy job sitting out here doing videos. But, it's one thing when the debt's paid off, I'm like, and that's why I think so many people, like, when they hit it big, they become zombies with meth, freaking heroin addicts, porn addicted, all this stuff, because it's like, what do you do with yourself at that stage? You got so much money, what do you do? You know what I'm saying? I think that's why a lot of these people just, like, they become nuts, because they're like, in fact, I was listening to Troy Aikman one time. He was calling a football game with Joe Buck, or something like that. They said, what's the difference between being a star quarterback and the the star announcer. And Troy Buck said, no one claps for you. At the end, no one's like saying, hey, you did a good job. Like, no one's, it's like you're done, and you walk away. I was listening to some other guy, I can't remember, as a musician, rock star. He's like, the problem being a rock star is when you have 20,000 people screaming at you, you got so much adrenaline, so much energy. When that stops, you're like, I can't just stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, for 2 hours, I'm playing shows, all these people screaming at me, all these ladies like, hi. And all of a sudden, you're like, now what? Go back to a quiet hotel room? That's, man. I think that might be one of the reasons why people are so afraid to retire. It's not that they're afraid of running out of money. I think that's a symptom. But I think the real thing is that they're actually saying, what do I do next? Because that's what I've been motivated for the last 50 years, 40 years, 30 years. Anyway, just something to think about. Hope the audio is better this time. I got my headphones on. We'll see you. Love to hear your thoughts.